DETV News is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service. Moving forward.
Tonight, 2 are dead after a crash in Glasgow, plus a Laurel man who waved the Confederate flag in the nation's capital during the January 6 riots is released from prison. And multiple troubles for former Bethany Beach police chief. Those stories and much more coming up tonight on DETV News. Good evening and welcome to this DETV News Brief. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks so much for being with us tonight. Here's what's making headlines across the first state. State police are investigating a fatal crash that happened Wednesday on Wrangle Hill Road south of Route 40 that killed 2 people. Police say the crash happened around 10:15 p.m. as a northbound car attempted to turn left onto Maple Lane near Caravel Academy and crashed nearly head-on with another car. The driver, a 57-year-old Newark woman, was pronounced dead at the scene. The passenger in that car was a 38-year-old Newark man. He was also killed. A 38-year-old Middletown man was taken to Christiana Hospital with serious injuries. Police say neither of the 38-year-old men in both cars were wearing seatbelts. And down to Laurel now, where a man who brandished the Confederate flag during the January 6, 2021 U.S. Capitol building riots has been granted an early release from prison. His son, Hunter, who was also convicted for his role on January 6th, has already been released. Kevin Seafried, the father, was originally sentenced to 3 years incarceration for his role in the riots. His felony obstruction charge is now central to an appeal Seafried filed quickly after his sentencing. He was convicted on 5 charges, including felony obstruction of justice, official proceedings. However, he is now appealing that charge, and a judge has ordered him released from prison while the Supreme Court determines the legitimacy of that charge. He is now set to see an early release date from prison as early as May of 2024. He would likely have to return to prison if this conviction is upheld. And Delaware's Department of Justice say it will not retry former state auditor Kathy McGinness. A retrial was an option after the state Supreme Court overturned one of McGinness's convictions back in February. McGinness was convicted of 3 misdemeanors in July of 2022. They are conflict of interest, official misconduct, and non-compliance with procurement law by structuring. The structuring charge was dropped before sentencing in October of 2022. She appealed the other convictions back in March, and Delaware's highest court reversed the conviction on official misconduct. The state Supreme Court's decision left the DOJ the option to retry McGinness on that charge, but a DOJ spokesperson says that in a statement that the jury found her guilty 3 times, and dragging the witnesses back to trial would have little practical purpose at the expense of both the court's time as well as the whistleblower's peace. And in other news, a bill aimed at improving education here in Delaware faces a standstill in the state Senate. The proposed legislation would mandate that public and private schools develop improvement plans if their proficiency levels on assessment tests drop below 10%. It was introduced by State Representative Brian Shoup. This bill has garnered attention after 17 schools fell below the proficiency threshold in English language arts or mathematics during the recent assessments. Despite passing through the House, it now languishes on the Senate's ready list. Under the bill, school leaders would present their plans at school board meetings and online, aiming to engage parents in the process. Math proficiency emerges as a significant challenge here in the state, with all qualifying schools below the 10% mark. With the deadline of August 1st looming for the plan submissions, the fate of the bill hinges on Senate action. The bill seeks to address broader issues highlighted by Delaware's overall proficiency rates, showing disparities among English learners, low income, and disabled students. And former Bethany Beach Chief Michael Redmond pleaded guilty to drunken driving. According to the Delaware Department of Justice, the plea was entered during his Court of Common Pleas hearing Wednesday morning. Redmond accepted the first offenders program and will undergo probation and a DUI course. If successful, he will be discharged, but the conviction will count for future DUI purposes. Redmond was arrested on May 30th, 2023 near Selbyville and was placed on administrative leave the next day. He was fired following a 4-month internal investigation into overtime fund misuse. Charges against him had not been filed as of this broadcast. And a Newark man finds himself in legal trouble following a police investigation into a smash and grab theft that occurred back in February. Police revealed car windows were shattered and items such as purses, credit cards, and personal belongings were stolen from locations including Del Castle Park and the parking lot of Coral Springs Rehabilitation on Greenbank Road. 41-year-old Stephen Bennett was apprehended at the Concord Mall on 202. Police stated that Bennett was wanted by several law enforcement agencies for similar offenses. If you have any information or surveillance footage related to these incidents, you're urged to contact police at 302-395-8171, or of course you can call Delaware Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-800-TIP-3333. And a portion of Bombay Hook National Wildlife Refuge down in Smyrna is temporarily closed after visitors overwhelmed a fox and her kits, causing at least one of the fox to die. According to a Coastal Delaware National Refuge Facebook post, the Bear Swamp Loop portion of the wildlife drive is now closed to cars, bikes, and pedestrians until further notice. An adult female fox with kits in a den near the wildlife drive has drawn a lot of attention in the recent weeks. The post said there have been reports of people blocking the female fox from returning to kits and attempting to lure the foxes with dog toys. The crowding led to at least one fox death. Another post said a frightened kit ran under a car and was killed when the driver, who was unaware, began to drive away. Park officers will be patrolling the area to enforce this closure. Though the closure is temporary, there is no firm date on reopening. The Facebook post recommended the following to visitors. First, they say give wildlife their space, at least 2 car lengths. If you stop, pull off the road and don't stop on the road. Next, don't stop right next to wildlife if they are right next to the road, as they could wind up underneath your car. And don't speed to be in a hurry on the refuge, and of course, stay on the road or trails. Back here in Wilmington, Wilmington will honor and note the passing of Fire Chief James T. Wilmore Sr., a trailblazer in firefighting and a beacon of inspiration. Born in Wilmington, Delaware in 1940, Chief Wilmore's dedication to service began as a firefighter in 1963, rising to become Wilmington's first Black fire chief in 1993. His leadership modernized the department and increased diversity. Beyond his career, Chief Wilmore's humor and mentorship touched countless lives. Despite illness, his spirit remained unyielding until his peaceful passing. Services will be held Friday at the Chase Center here in Wilmington, with a viewing at 9 a.m. and services beginning at 11. And the weather is looking like it's much better than we talked to Shakara last week when we had nonstop rain. Shakara, how's it looking now?
Hey, Matt. Let's just dive right into the weekend weather forecast. Last weekend, we needed our coats. It was chilly, but this weekend, not so much. On Feel Good Friday, expect a high of 64 degrees with partly cloudy skies in the evening, followed by increasing clouds overnight. There will be a low of 47 degrees, so just jacket, not that winter weather and coat that we had last weekend. And on Saturday, we'll see temperatures slightly cooler, reaching a high of 59 degrees, accompanied by windy conditions and some cloudy skies. We will see some peeps of sunshine in the afternoon, and then in the evening, we'll be in the 40s again. Now, Sunday looks to be the highlight of the weekend with a high of 72 degrees. There'll be a mix of sunshine and clouds and a slight chance of a rain shower in the evening. Now, let's explore some exciting events happening this weekend. Now, did you guys know that April 12th is National Grilled Cheese Day? Matt, did you know it was National Grilled Cheese Day?
I had no idea.
You can indulge in this tasty treat with the family and kids at home and celebrate by heading to the Delaware Art Museum for their art and studio event. Children aged 18 months to 4 years can join in on a creative play date filled with story time, art exploration, and hands-on activities. Registration is required, so be sure to visit their website for more information. And since Sunday promises warm weather, feel good sunshine, why not spend the day outdoors at Alapocus Run State Park? Join the Ultimate Frisbee Spring Beginners League from 12 to 2 p.m. for a fun-filled afternoon of learning and practicing those ultimate Frisbee skills. All adults 18 plus are welcome, while teens age 16 to 17 require a chaperone. For more details, visit DelawareUltimate.com or check them out on Facebook. That pretty much wraps up your weekend weather forecast and events. Back to you, Matt.
Shakira, as always, you plan out my weekend perfectly, so I'm gonna buy a grilled cheese. I'm not gonna make one, let's be honest. I'm gonna buy a grilled cheese and then head to play some Frisbee.
You can do that.
Perfect.
Yes,
and
right.
then we're going to be transported to the magical kingdom of Princess Aurora, where the wicked Caraboose casts a curse that dooms the princess and her entire kingdom. Set to a spectacular score, this beloved classic will sweep you away with its beauty, adventure, and enduring message of the power of true love. Starting Saturday, April 13th at 7 o'clock, and then Sunday at 2 p.m. at First State Ballet Theater. That's going to be at 818 North Market Street, right down the street from us. We hope to see you there. And before we go tonight, I hope you didn't miss it, but if you did, that's why we're here. Delaware's own Olivia Rubin made a striking impression on the latest episode of The Voice. The 25-year-old Hockessin singer triumphed in the knockouts round, securing her spot among the final 10 contestants, moving on to the quarterfinals later this month. Rubini's rendition of Elton John's Tiny Dancer won over coaches John Legend and Reba McEntire, earning her praise for her vocal prowess. Despite a close call with contestant Frank Garcia, Rubini's performance ultimately earned her a well-deserved victory, propelling her to the playoffs. Take a look.
The winner of this knockout is Olivia.
Ooh, gives me chills. Fans will have the chance to catch Olivia Rubin live at the Wilmington Flower Market on May 10th and at the Sunrise Fest at Shellville on June 8th. Congratulations to her. Shakira, have you watched The Voice? Have you watched Olivia on The Voice?
I have not.
Have
but
you
I've
not?
heard
You gotta
great
check her out.
things.
Yeah, we had her on our art show, Culture Scope, a couple weeks ago. So if you haven't watched that, check that out.
Check it out.
She's amazing, and the rendition. She's so they do these covers on The Voice, but she really puts her own spin on it, and I definitely recommend checking her out. I know she has a good.
Does she give you chills? Like when
Totally,
she sings?
yes.
Yeah.
Because it's
that's
totally,
how you know. You can feel it.
Yes, totally, yeah. And she's here, and she's just like the coolest human being.
Aww.
So down to earth. So we
Good
wish
for
her
her.
luck and take home the whole win.
She's going to.
She's going
You gotta
to.
put it in there.
100%, yeah. So,
Good.
what's your plans for the weekend?
Frisbee.
Frisbee.
Alapocus
With a
State
grilled
Park.
cheese or not a grilled cheese?
No, I'm going to have the grilled cheese first. And then, like you said, we're going to go to the
We're
Frisbee
going to go to the
competition.
Frisbee. Yeah, perfect.
I'll make it. So that way
You
you don't have to buy it.
probably should, yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to
Nobody
make
wants
it.
to
We
make
know I can't cook.
Well, that's going to do it for today's edition of DETV News. Be sure to follow us across all of your favorite social media platforms.
And for a look at what's happening all around Delaware, take a look at our website, the award-winning DETVCH.com.
Hear that? All right. And for all of us here at DETV News, I'm Matt Ford.
And I'm Shakira Denise. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Nice. Yeah. don't talk about prostate cancer enough, and it's the most diagnosed form of cancer and the second most common cause of cancer death among Black men in both Delaware and the United States. Approximately 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime, but just by asking your healthcare provider if you should get a screening could help you detect prostate cancer early and save your life. So let's talk about it. Talk to your healthcare provider today about a prostate cancer screening if you are 40 years of age or older, or have a family history of prostate cancer. If you don't have insurance, or if your insurance doesn't pay for cancer screenings, Screening for Life may provide you with the screenings that you need, and Nurse Navigators make this process easier. To learn more, visit healthydelaware.org/prostate or call 211. Ask your healthcare provider about a prostate cancer screening, and you're asking for so much more.